Big Lez's League, an all rugby league experience.
Now, obviously, in that Sharks game, we did have a pretty controversial call. Harry Grant obviously got sent to the sin bin of some contact on Daniel Atkinson. What are our thoughts on this one, Darcy? I'll start with you, mate.
Yeah, it's Freddie stuffed this for everyone, didn't he? So it's just like it's so well done, Fred.
Bloody Lussick, man.
Yeah, I know. But like it's just I actually don't mind it now because it's clear, it's black and white. You can't touch the kicker. Like you know, you can put the kick pressure on, but then you know how much kick pressure can you put on now if you're that scared to put on to sort of come in contact with the kicker. But you know he only just brushed him, but I think he got $1,000 fine or something like that. But it's just
he fought it, didn't he? He's going to
fight it. Yeah,
he's fighting the $1,000 fine.
Yeah,
good on him.
Yeah,
I think. Look, I'm happy with the decision to protect the kickers. Yeah, he just brushed his leg, but why didn't Harry Grant take him out?
Yeah,
he was attacking him from the inside shoulder from marker.
Yeah,
he had ample opportunity to put his shoulder through his rib cage.
Yeah,
and then he ran past the legs and it clipped him.
Yeah,
that was a confusing scenario for me with Harry Grant. I thought you could have buried that kid.
I know.
But you ran past, you clipped the leg. All right, penalty, sin bin. Yeah, it's soft. You've drawn a line in the sand now. Every person that makes contact with the kickers with legs is in the sin bin. Now, everyone's saying there's been 11 other incidents this year. Freddie probably did start this. You know, Lockie Ilias had a terrible break.
Yeah.
And this is the problem with our game. We have so many rules, so many interpretations. We tend to make up things as we go, and that therefore it creates controversy within the media, fans, because there's no consistency. We've created this monster. You got to have these black and white rules set from the start. Set from the start of the year. Contact with the legs, sin bin. As you make them up on the go, that's when there becomes more pressure on the referees.
Yeah.
So I'm happy with it. I'm fine with it. It was soft. It was minimal contact. He didn't get injured. But if we're going to set a precedent, we started it there.
I mean, we obviously had the Jesse Bromwich hit on Tom Trbojevic as well, which tapped him. And then that got given a penalty as well. I guess we've had two really soft penalties given away. Does there need to be an element of common sense implemented with these rules as well?
Yeah, but it's just hard. It's like you come in contact with the head. Well, what do you grade it? How hard it was? If he's injured, you know, it's just like I wouldn't want the job as a referee because you're going to get hammered either way. But all the punters and the fans and the supporters and even the players, the coaches, they just want consistency. That's what I think.
Yeah.
You know, they want consistency. Whereas if this happens to us, sweet, we know if they do it, it's going to happen to them. But it's very grey area.
You can't have grey area in our game. There is a common sense element that does come into it. But everyone's interpretation of common sense is different.
Yeah.
Whose common sense is the correct common sense?
Yeah.
But the thing that would piss me off about that was Turbo did a professional foul 5 minutes before it.
Yeah.
He took out someone who was trying to get the ball. I think it was Avarillo.
Yeah.
So he should have been in the bin for 10 minutes. 5 minutes later, he gets tapped on the face. He gets a penalty, laughs about it. They kick it down the field. They get another penalty, and then they kick for goal, and it becomes a drawn game, you know?
Yeah.
Luckily, Dolphins went on to win the game.
Yeah.
But that's the snowball effect. It's if you want to play to the letter of the law, Turbo shouldn't have even been on the field before he got slapped on the face.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's soft.
So
it's a very soft look for our game for Bromwich to accidentally touch him on the face and it gets penalised. You know, like
at the end of the day, it's rugby league, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like we're playing, it's a friggin' tough sport, like a brutal sport at times. But I guess it's the way it's going. It's sort of losing that a little bit.
Yeah.
So both of you guys are pro consistency over common sense.
I don't know. That's hard.
Well, that's what I just said. Everyone's interpretation of common sense is different, and the referees, they just don't seem to be on the same page across the board. And I come back to what I said last week. It all comes down to their leadership.
Do you think they're a bit gun shy? Like, do you think they go, are they worried about if they send someone off or, You know, if
Or
they
do you
don't.
reckon that he was gun shy not to penalise Bromwich? If he just went, nah, but then it came out, it's contact with the head.
Yeah.
I mean, this is like, remember the days of Bill Harrigan and who was the one with the beard? Far out. But they were just like, they had that much ego and that much arrogance as referees. They were that confident in their decisions. They just made the decision and backed it.
Yeah.
And there was no ifs or buts. It was just, that's what it is.
But do you think as well the bunker has a big part to play in that as well?
let's-
Because they obviously do make.
Let's not get
the
back
final
into the
call.
bunker. We've spoken about it. Like, there was just two soft penalties. But
Yeah.
within the letter of the law, they are penalties.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll have to wait and see what happens over the next few weeks and how consistent they are with this rule as well.
We'll be talking about it next week.
For sure.
Yeah, that's the thing. I'm hoping that we don't get to next week and there's a similar instance with like what we saw with Harry Grant and there's no penalty blown and there's no sin bin.
Yeah.
If they want to implement this now, they've got to be really strict on it moving forward. Let's talk about some of the injuries. Obviously, over the past week, we've seen Cleary go down for multiple weeks now. He's going to miss the State of Origin series. Turbo's going to miss State of Origin now as well. Jason Saab, AC joint. We've had a lot of injuries.
Yeah, look, it's concerning. I honestly think the weather had something to do with all these injuries. You know, we've had torrential rain for 2 weeks and the fields are heavy. They had heavy rain up in Queensland as well.
Training on heavy.
Training on heavy. It was bound to happen eventually, you know. You must the soft underfoot,
Yeah.
you know, players fatigue.
Yeah.
How many kicks is Cleary doing a week at training? Even if it's his left hammy, I'm not sure if it's his left or right. He's still, you know, if he's kicking, if it's his right, obviously that's his kicking leg. If it's his left, that's his stabiliser.
Yeah.
You know, there's a lot of tension and pressure and repeat efforts on their legs. Turbo's had, and they both had ongoing hamstring injuries.
Yeah.
It's not like it was just like these random hamstring injury for either of them. Yeah, it's. I actually listened to Brandy Alexander and Vossi. They interviewed a physio, and he was talking about during the COVID period, there was far more injuries. Well, you gave me a stat before the show that there was
13 injuries per round at the moment.
At the moment, it was 15 during COVID.
Yep.
So that proved his theory was that during COVID, the players might have been a bit more underdone, and they weren't battle hardened for NRL. But now I think we've probably had a lot more wet weather this year.
Yeah.
So I think the weather definitely has something to do with it.
I think some scheduling as well. Like I know I was listening to Adam O'Brien talk about it a little bit before. Like they had 3 games in 12 days, and I think they might have even had to fly in between a few places. So, you know, it's the fatigue. You know, the game's getting faster, players are getting bigger, stronger. Like the pecs, you know, it's just sometimes your body just can't handle the collisions or. But yeah, it's just
Ball in play.
Ball in play, yeah.
You know, so they're running a lot quicker under fatigue.
Yeah.
And even for the Warriors as well, we were speaking about the Roosters game before. They had Roger Tuivasa-Sheck and Marcelo Montoya go down during the week before the game at training. Obviously, Roger's out for 2 to 6 weeks, which is the really lengthy timeline for him to return for a hamstring injury. These hammies are getting out of control.
Yeah, that'd be annoying, if you got a 2 to 6 week diagnosis. Yeah. Like, is it 2 to 3, 2 to 6? Like, where does that leave me?
I know.
Somewhere in the middle.
About 4.
I'll take 4.
Compromise for 4.
That's a physio that's second guessing their own diagnosis.
100%.
Have a crack, physio. Just make it fucking 4.
Well, what about this as well? In terms of stats, around half of the starting halfbacks in the NRL are out with injury at the moment. Sean Johnson, Nico Hines, Nathan Cleary, Tanner Boyd at the moment as well, Jamal Fogarty, Adam Reynolds, both done their biceps. That's insane stuff.
There's a lot of halves, isn't it? And that just probably plays into what we've just been saying, is that, you know, the game is getting faster, players are getting bigger, ball in play, wet weather. Yeah, obviously they're fatiguing.
And do you think it's
Cramps?
Yeah.
Been a heap of cramps too.
Reece Walsh. when him and Aaron Reynolds both went off with cramps in that Tigers game.
You know what? They play hand in hand, don't they? Really, if cramps and hamstrings, like that's muscle fatigue.
In my career, I was never running fast enough for a hamstring.
I didn't even know I had hammies.
Yeah, I've never strained a hamstring in my life. So I don't know what I'm giving my opinion on it.
How many forwards do hamstrings?
Yeah, not many.
Not many.
No.
I can't think of any off the top of my head.
No, well, we've had a few forwards go down with ACLs, but that's about it in terms
I didn't
of
have
legs.
footwork either, so my knees were sweet.
Yeah.
Just run hard, tackle hard for you,
That's
Das.
it, mate, that's it.